Hi, this is Retro Nerd Girl, and this is a conversation I had with my mom about film and media. About Charlton Heston there for a minute. I think he had two generations of our family having crushes on him, because I had a serious crush on Charlton Heston there for a long
Yeah,
time.
he was good looking when he was young, and he was also in Planet of the Apes. He was
Yes.
very good in that first one, the 1st one.
Yes, the first Planet of the Apes. My favorite, I think, one of his is well, it's a toss between the Ten Commandments, of course, because
Oh
he's
yes, he was
so incredible in that, and very young, right? He was also
he did all of those old biblical movies.
yeah. He actually made an appearance in. And I think it may have been his last movie, and that was also the remake of the Planet of the Apes that Tim Burton did.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that one?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, it was actually funny because he played an ape in that movie, which is really which is kind of funny.
But the last ape movie they made, that was so good. That one was, I forget the person. It was like 2 or 3 years ago, before the pandemic, I believe they made it. And the ape was so real. I mean, whoever played that part, whoever did the costume, just absolutely.
Oh, are you talking about, it was like 216 maybe, or two?
Yeah, it was the last one.
Okay, because
they called it something else. It wasn't.
Because there was one,
and it was so good. I mean, it was the acting.
Okay, it was the War of the Planet of the Apes. Now they recently put out another ape movie, which is they put out another ape movie this year called the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. You didn't happen to catch that one?
No. Well, I don't go to movies anymore, and as I've spent a lot of my times on YouTube. I mean, I go everywhere. I mean, because you learn so much.
Yes.
I mean, if you have a question about anything, just type it up and it comes up. Somebody had that same issue and they'll help you solve it.
Yeah. But,
you know, that's like YouTube and Amazon taking over the world.
Amazon is pretty great at that too. So the movie that you were talking about is War of the Planet of the Apes. It was directed by Matt Reeves, and he did sort of his trilogy, which was excellent. I watched all of them. The person who played the main ape, Caesar, was Andy Serkis, and he's really good at playing those.
He was so good.
Characters. Yeah. He also did the motion capture work for The Lord of the Rings, of course, the character of...
Was it Spiegel? Was it
Spiegel? Yeah, yeah.
God, it's the same guy.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Oh my
God. So yeah, I did love those three movies as far as like having a good storyline and plot and everything. They surprised me. I thought it was going to be hot garbage, but it turned out to be really good.
Yeah. He also played in Black Panther. He played the villain.
Yes, he did. He did. Yeah.
And I, you know, something, it just pains me that that guy died, you know.
Oh, yes.
He was so authentic. He really made you feel like he was the king of some out of way place.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame that they weren't able to also recast him, or felt like they couldn't recast him. I think it would have done some good for
you just like continue with the series with
continue.
Yeah. And they tried to with that girl, but as a sidekick, she's good, but she can't carry a movie.
She can't carry the movie, and I think a lot of people didn't want that character to go away. I mean,
but they could have, the one that he killed, the brother. I wish they had brought him back.
I know, it looked like that's what they were going to do, and
have him be the leader of what it is,
Wakanda.
Have him be the leader there. And now that the brother, you know, but they decided to go with that. You know, he would have been good at that.
I think so too. And we need, the thing about being a hero and a lead, you have to be a strong presence. And although, you know, I do love,
he didn't have the muscle mass and all of that stuff, but it was his present, his character,
Yes,
and the
yes.
way he got into the, the voice,
Hmm.
the rendition of that, rendering that language. Oh, it was so beautiful. You really believe that you were there in Wakanda.
Yeah, yeah. And I think hopefully we haven't seen the last of Wakanda, and they'll figure something out. But yeah, they should have recast, to be very honest with you, because it's a shame that they left such a good character
Yeah.
on the
I
table
guess
like
too,
that.
they didn't want to overlook the girl who was there. They probably would have got. But I look at it this way, and I mean, come on, some things need to be left alone.
Yeah.
I do believe in women moving forward, but is that the right one to move forward?
Yes, yes.
This is what I'm talking about. Put the
Hmm.
right, even Angela Bassett wouldn't have been the right one, although she played the mother. And it could have come with another character, I don't know. She just didn't do it for me.
Yeah. A recast would have been perfect. But there's also another character, Storm, that I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Marvel universe and all that.
I'm not.
But there's a character out there that is just begging for them to just like insert her into the storyline, and they're not doing that just yet. So I don't know what they're doing, but yeah, that would have been a good idea, to just like recast that particular character, because he
Yeah.
was
I
still.
mean, she could still be in it as a major character, but
Mhm.
to carry the movie,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
she had an attitude. She held up, the production, everything, and for it not to work that well, I'm saying, you see, you can get too full of yourself. You got to
Mhm.
always. One thing I like about the actor who, and you know who I'm talking about, he played in My Left Foot. He usually come here and do a movie and he disappears.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Lewis,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
That boy, Lord have mercy, he can act.
yeah.
He can act. Here's a guy, the glamour, it can go out the door. And Meryl Streep, she's the same identical way.
Yeah.
She peels, whatever that character is, no matter how beautiful she might be, she's going to step into that character, that role, and play that character. And the girl is like, she's so good, she makes me laugh sometimes.
Yeah, she is so good. Her, Glenn Close.
Glenn Close is good, yeah. But
Yeah, they don't care about the way they appear on
and
screen.
Glenn
That's not
Close,
really.
today she's on Instagram looking all silly and old, no makeup. She doesn't care.
Yeah, she doesn't care. I like that about that's why some of these actors, like some of the really, really, really good actors,
They're not into
are.
glamour. The
Yeah,
glamour.
they're not into
Yeah,
that. They just the work is more important
yes,
than
exactly.
anything. Yeah.
Now Angela Bassett, she's done some good work too as well.
Yes.
I
Yes.
thought her role in Tina Turner, that's where she should have gotten the Academy Award
Oh
because she
yeah, yeah.
was like dynamic.
Oh yeah, she was amazing.
Viola
It's
Davis, she's another one. She knows how to peel that glamour away and do a good role. Because if the character is ugly, you got to be willing to get ugly.
yeah, yeah.
If the character is dowdy and and bad teeth, you got to do that. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't just.
Be like beautiful. Oh, only shoot me from this angle.
I'll tell you somebody I want to bring up before we get Drew Barrymore's grandmother,
Mm.
Ethel Barrymore. Now, you see, you had some women back in the past, they didn't fall into that sexy siren stuff
Mm-hmm.
because they knew that, they were going to get older, I guess. But see, but they were Hollywood royalty anyway. They didn't have to.
Yeah.
To do it. But if you ever get a chance to see a movie with Ethel Barrymore, boy, talking about she can act.
Oh wow.
That woman can act. So a lot of those old actresses can act.
Mm-hmm. Now, and it's very interesting because a lot of people will look at a lot of young people look at some of the older films and say, "Oh, the acting's really bad because there's that transatlantic accent, sort of the Clark Gable
Please.
language that they're doing." But then when you look at some of the acting of those people in a like more modern setting, like the 70s and 80s, really, really good.
The only thing I liked that came out of the 70s was Star Wars, and that was it. Because those people, when they were making the movies, many of them, they were at the time, cocaine was very popular. So people were getting high, and it was like, but Star Wars was the best thing that came out of the 70s. Well, I like the movies, most of the movies that they created in the 50s and the 60s.
Mm.
But to me, like from the 1930s to the 40s, and even through the 50s, because you got some good movies with Elizabeth Taylor, Cat on a Hot Tent Roof.
Mm-hmm.
That girl, that's her best acting. See, but today you got to catch kids' attention much quicker. See, back in the day,
yes,
it took time.
Yeah,
you had to get into the story. But today, you got to be quick. You got to do something. You got to kill. You got to, some blood spattering. Something got to happen quickly. The conflict has to happen very quickly. Whereas in the old movies, the conflict happens, subtly.
Mm-hmm.
You get a storyline, and then something happens.
Well, okay, let's talk about the 70s a little bit. What are your thoughts on Black exploitation films? I have certain thoughts about them.
Watch them again if that's what you're asking. I don't go back because they were not well put together. They were put together by, I think, a few Black directors made the movie. They probably didn't have the budget to actually make the movies the way they wanted to. Shaft, I like that. And I guess also it's the content. It was always about drugs and, going after the drug dealer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I felt like a lot of people thought that was like the daily life of Black people, but it didn't. It revealed like maybe like a 0.25% of people's lives, and like people didn't even really talk like that, did they? In the 70s, from my recollection.
Yeah, man. But Barry Gordy sort of broke the, he broke the yoke when he created Diana Ross, Lady Sings the Blues.
Mm.
Cicely Tyson did Sounder. But it was always about, now with Barry Gordy, of course, he had his own budget, but with the movies that I think that was, created by
Big Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, Big Hollywood. So the Black person always ended up dead, and the woman either ended up by herself, like with Sounder, that man just, I think he came home from, they put him in jail first off, and she was on the farm with the children by herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, I think he was killed. It was always a sad ending.
Yeah. Because one of the movies from there's a lot of movies I suppose I saw in the 70s that I'm like I still love though. Like we've got Carrie, Saturday Night Fever, Carrie.
Carrie, yeah, we watched Carrie. It was good.
Yeah, Carrie was amazing.
We watched that in a dirty movie house.
How many? Okay,
before it was cleaned up.
How many dirty movie houses did we see movies at? Because there were a lot, right?
Oh my God, yeah. Mr. Pry had a lot of movies in the 70s.
Yes.
Car Wash was one.
Wash, yes.
And there was another one where he played this baseball player, but he was crazy in Car Wash.
Car wash. I love the I love that story, car wash. But
And the Pointer Sisters, I think, was in that movie.
yeah, they were. I did do a review on that one. There was also Saturday Night Fever, and then there was also Thank God It's Friday.
Thank God It's Friday with Donna Summers.
With Donna Summers, yes.
That was good too.
And
movies, there's a lot of movies at that particular time that was coming out with, soundtrack, where it was.
Yes. And I think that carried over into the 80s quite well, where they were kind of doing soundtracks to the movies that were kind of like the soundtrack to your life, Well, why don't we talk about the big one from the 70s, Star Wars?
Oh yeah.
The first
you came from Trinidad.
Yes.
We took you to see the movie.
And that was a very special day for me because it was just like magical. And
all of those people at that particular time, the line was around the corner. I mean, to get in to see Star Wars.
Yeah, and it had already been out for several months. So it's kind of like wild to think like did we see it? Like we saw it in like December?
No, when it first came out, we were there the first day it opened.
The first day it opened?
Yes, we were in line the first day that opened.
Oh wow. I didn't know that. I thought it was a couple of months.
No, we had to wait in line for a long time around the corner in order to get in.
And when we went to see like Star Wars, what was your first impression of the movie when you saw it for the first time? Like seeing that movie in the theater for the first time.
It was magical. I knew I needed to go back and see it for a second time.
Yeah.
It was, with all the special effect and, with all of those great, lines, with him saying, Darth Vader.
Yes, he was amazing. Where are those plans?
Because at first he was getting on the little girl. Remember?
Yes.
So, I mean, it was like, but the second one with the Empire Strike Back.
That's so good.
And how he was killing the people. He sent them out to get them, and if they didn't get them, he would. When they come back, you failed me for the last time.
I love it.
He knew he had that voice. He knew.
Yeah.
Well, the guy who they had hired first, when they did the scene, they said, no, we can't use. He had the body, but he did not have the voice. So they went to James Earl Jones, and he was incredible. I mean, the whole thing was just what's his name? George Lucas. He did an incredible job with that.
Yes, he did. And just going through a lot of the making of that movie, there was a lot of struggle, and it was an independent film, and just really blew my socks off. Now, I was going to ask you before then, besides some of the very cool movies that came out in the 50s, there's so many of them, were you a science fiction person? Did you like?
Oh yeah, I used to love science fiction movies all the time, and also scary movies. Boris Karloff at the time, he used to have a television show too. He would scare the socks off of you. When children are young, they love to see scary stuff, even though they can't sleep at night after
it's exciting.
But it is I guess you would say the mystery behind dead people and death. That's the thing that people like about these scary scientific movies. And I'm telling you, the best one, they were made back in the day, black and white. Boris Karloff.
Yep, yeah. Dracula. You've got the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Wolfman.
The Wolfman. Yeah.
Now there's a stream of Dracula movies that came out of
Hammer Films.
Hammer film. I like those two as
Oh,
well.
me
With
too.
the main actor, what is his name?
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee, and the other one. They both
Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing. Oh my God, both of them, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee.
Yes.
Woo! And Christopher Lee.
Just great stuff. Especially they had such a great chemistry together, and they just kept pumping out those films, and it was just wonderful.
One
And
was
they
Leo, and the other one, Christopher Lee, a Leo, and Peter Cushing, he was a Gemini.
Yeah, and they're doing a remake of the Nosferatu movie from the 1920s. Did you ever see that one, Mommy? The black and white movie?
What's the name of it?
It's a silent movie, Nosferatu.
Oh, yes, yes. They made another one not too long ago.
I know. This is the fourth one.
I showed it in class, and wait a minute, that wasn't the one. I couldn't show it because there's a nude scene in it. But,
okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's so good and creepy for when you think of 1922 special effects. They were very limited, but they just did so much with what they had. And I always admire that. If you'd like me to make more videos like this, please do like, comment, or subscribe. Either one will help the channel greatly. But also, YouTube is going to suggest a video for you to watch. Without further ado, I bid you adieu, and I'll see you again real soon.